And the first thing that happens, usually, is the love scene.
The atmosphere in the studio is relaxed and intimate as the conversation begins. Soft lighting creates a warm glow, and the camera captures every subtle expression and gesture. The actress settles into her chair with an easy confidence, her smile carrying both playfulness and depth. There's a quality to her laugh that makes people want to listen more closely, a richness that comes from years of experience and countless stories. When the interviewer poses the question, she responds with a teasing tone, asking if they really want her to be completely honest. At 60 years old, she explains, she's come to understand that honesty can sometimes be risky territory, particularly when discussing attractive colleagues from her long career. The interviewer encourages her to continue, clearly enjoying the direction of the conversation. She takes a deep breath, the kind that signals she's about to share something meaningful, and begins to speak more candidly. She acknowledges that her entire professional life has been spent working alongside remarkably attractive and talented men. Some were younger than her, some seemed almost impossibly perfect, and many felt just beyond reach in various ways. She admits that it would be dishonest to claim she never thought about the possibilities, never felt that spark of attraction or curiosity. However, she quickly adds with a knowing wink that she considers herself a lady, though the way she says it suggests there's more complexity to the story than that simple statement implies. Her posture remains elegant as she continues, explaining an important distinction she's learned over the years. There's a significant difference between fantasy and actually acting on those fantasies, she notes. In her experience, the fantasy often turns out to be the superior option. When you keep things in the realm of imagination, you preserve the mystery and maintain that exciting sense of possibility. Sometimes the wisest decision you can make is to stop yourself just before crossing a line that would lead to consequences you'd never forget, whether good or bad. Her smile takes on a more mischievous quality as she reveals that there were 6 particular men throughout her career who made her forget her lines, lose her composure, and perhaps question her usual professional boundaries more than she'd care to admit. She emphasizes that she never actually crossed any inappropriate lines, but leans forward to confess that she thought about it more than once. The honesty in her voice is balanced with humor and self-awareness. She sits back again, her eyes bright with the kind of mischief that suggests she still has plenty of untold stories tucked away. When asked directly who these 6 men were, she laughs softly and says that some of Hollywood's finest made being strictly professional extremely challenging. Now that she's 60, she feels finally old enough to admit these things openly. The first name she mentions brings a particularly warm smile to her face, as though she's savoring a cherished memory. Working with Richard Gere, she explains, inevitably means discussing chemistry because it's simply built into who he is as a performer. His eyes, his calm demeanor, that quiet confidence that fills whatever space he occupies even before he speaks a single line. She recalls that when they began working on their film together, he seemed very composed and thoroughly prepared. She initially thought their collaboration would be straightforward and easy. Then, during their first script reading, he looked at her in a particular way, and she completely lost her place on the page. It wasn't because he did anything intentionally, she explains, but rather because he possesses this quality of stillness and intense focus. When he looks at you, you feel truly seen in a way that goes beyond being merely watched. It's unsettling in the most interesting way. Her laugh becomes warmer as she describes what it's like spending months pretending to be in love with someone like that. Long shooting days, emotionally intense scenes, very little personal space, and suddenly the line between acting and genuine feeling starts to blur. A kind of unspoken dance develops between co-stars in that situation. A meaningful glance, a pause that lasts a heartbeat longer than necessary. Moments of connection that everyone on set notices but politely pretend not to see. You find yourself staying in characters slightly longer than the scene requires. When they worked together again years later on another project, it felt like resuming a conversation that had never really ended. Between takes, they would tease each other. He would quote dialogue from their previous film together, she would respond with mock exasperation, and somehow all that comfortable teasing made their scenes together feel more natural and human. That kind of genuine comfort between actors is rare and valuable because it helps the audience believe what they're watching. Her tone becomes quieter and more thoughtful as she observes that Richard Gere possesses a kind of elegance that can be genuinely dangerous in a professional context. It sneaks up on you gradually. You think you're maintaining perfect professionalism, and then he smiles in that particular way, and suddenly you've forgotten whatever you were about to say. That's a genuine occupational hazard for an actress, she suggests with another laugh. Working alongside him was like standing near a warm fire on a cold evening. You don't consciously decide to move closer, but the warmth just naturally pulls you in. She adds with a smile that she did behave appropriately throughout their work together, but acknowledges that the boundary between acting emotions and feeling them genuinely was extraordinarily thin. The second name brings immediate laughter even before she begins describing him. Kevin Costner, she says while shaking her head in affectionate amusement, is a man who could make simply standing still look heroic. She remembers the first day on their film set together, watching him arrive wearing his hat, speaking in that low, measured voice, looking at people with such steadiness. His presence isn't flashy or showy, but rather like a strong current that pulls you along before you even realize you're moving. Her voice softens as she continues describing him. He has a quiet gravity that makes you feel safe in his presence, yet there's always something underneath the surface, a challenge or a spark of something more complex. When they would rehearse scenes together, he never pushed or forced moments. Instead, he would simply listen. Really, truly listen, and that quality changed how you would deliver your next line. That's genuine chemistry, she explains, the kind that cannot be manufactured or rehearsed. She grins with obvious delight as she describes how he teases without even speaking. You're focused on your character, thinking about your upcoming lines, and then he gives you this half smile. Not a full grin, but just a hint of one. Suddenly, you're no longer thinking about the dialogue at all, but instead thinking desperately about not blushing visibly on camera. The memory clearly still amuses her as she laughs again. There's tremendous power in stillness, she observes. Kevin Costner can make an entire room go quiet simply by crossing his arms. Trying to act alongside that quality is incredibly challenging, like playing chess against a storm cloud. You have to remain completely steady, or he'll steal the entire scene by doing essentially nothing at all. Her tone becomes gentler as she adds that he's also one of the kindest people she's ever worked with, completely professional, thoughtful, and protective of the emotional space they were creating together. When you're shooting something deeply emotional, you need that kind of environment. He creates space for vulnerability. She looks directly at the interviewer and says that working with Kevin Costner taught her that true strength doesn't need to announce itself loudly. Sometimes it just stands there, calm and unbothered, and allows you to feel every beat of its presence. The third name when mentioned brings a smile of both amusement and genuine respect. Josh Brolin, she begins, is pure energy, all instinct and intensity. You can feel his presence before he even greets you. She leans back comfortably as she remembers their time together. He possessed this restless drive that made every scene unpredictable in the most exciting way. He's not the type of actor who approaches moments the same way twice. He might look at you slightly differently, adjust the tone of a line unexpectedly, and suddenly the entire scene comes alive with new possibilities. You have to stay alert and keep pace, or you'll get swept up in whatever emotional storm he's creating. Continues. He has that wild streak in his performance style, but it's paired with surprising tenderness. He'll deliver a take that feels like thunder, powerful and intense, and then between setups he's making jokes and checking to make sure you're comfortable despite the heat and challenging conditions. That combination of danger and kindness creates a magnetic quality. She tilts her head thoughtfully, her eyes gleaming with quiet humor. There's an intensity about Josh Brolin that catches you off guard. You think you're simply playing a scene as written, and then you notice the way he's looking at you and realize you've both stopped acting for half a heartbeat. That's when you know you're in good creative territory, she explains. That space where trust and tension overlap perfectly. Her tone softens further as she describes him as fearless, noting that confidence like his is contagious. Working alongside him reminded her that acting at its highest level is truly a dance. perhaps rough around the edges, but full of rhythm and genuine connection. She smiles warmly and adds that Josh Brolin is one of those rare actors who makes everyone around him better without even trying. And yes, she adds with a deliberate wink, he's exactly as compelling off-camera as he is during filming. The fourth name brings a softer, more nostalgic quality to her smile. Matt Dillon, she says, takes her back to a very different time. They were both young, really just kids, trying to appear like adults who knew what they were doing. She laughs at the memory. He had this quiet, cool quality that every director in the 1980s wanted to capture. The way he would lean casually against a wall, not saying a word, and somehow still dominate the frame. Meanwhile, she was trying desperately to keep up, trying not to look obviously impressed by him, and failing miserably at hiding it. Her eyes light up with mischief as she continues. Matt Dillon was one of those actors who could make silence feel as meaningful as dialogue. You'd be standing there waiting for your cue and suddenly realize he was already telling an entire story just through the way he looked at you. That kind of focused attention is both rare and dangerous because it pulls you into the moment completely. She grins and shakes her head at the memory. Despite their youth, he already had real presence. They would be rehearsing lines, and he would do this thing with his expression, not deliberately, but just naturally, a half smile that would appear. Suddenly, she'd completely forget what her next line was supposed to be. It's interesting, she reflects, that decades later she can still picture that exact look perfectly. Her voice warms as she observes that he's grown into that same calm power he possessed even back then, just steadier now and more refined. Some people lose their spark as they age, she notes, but Matt Dillon simply allowed his to mature. You can still feel it when you see him on screen now. It's still present, just quieter, like a slow, steady burn rather than a sudden flare. She glances at the interviewer and laughs softly, explaining that certain co-stars remind you of specific times in your life. Matt Dillon will always represent that mixture of nervousness and excitement for her, that sense that something significant was just beginning. The fifth name makes her laugh immediately. Tom Cruise, she says, was pure energy, fearless momentum personified. Even in the early days of his career, he would arrive on set like a comet with energy you could feel before you even saw him. She leans back as the memories return. Everyone was so young then, all trying to find their footing in the industry, and Tom already possessed this incredible focus and drive. He wasn't yet the biggest star in any room, but you could absolutely tell he was going to become exactly that. There's a certainty about him that's impossible to ignore. Her smile widens as she describes his communication style. He spoke quickly, constantly full of ideas, always in motion. It was genuinely contagious energy. You'd reach the end of an exhausting day of shooting, and he'd still be bouncing around, planning the next take, the next stunt, the next everything. She found that quality admirable, and it made you want to match his energy. She laughs softly, adding that he also possesses a charm that catches you by surprise. It's boyish, yet precise. When you're talking with him, he looks directly into your eyes, and for a moment, it feels like the entire rest of the world has gone silent. That kind of focused attention is disarming, and works just as effectively off-camera as it does during filming. Her tone becomes more thoughtful as she considers what makes him so effective on screen. It's that particular combination of intensity and optimism, she explains. When he connects with you during a scene, you believe him completely. You stop acting and simply respond authentically. She grins again and describes how Tom Cruise was one of those people who made every set feel electric with possibility. You'd leave at the end of the day feeling lighter, faster, and definitely more energized than you'd planned to be. The sixth and final name brings a more reflective quality to her expression. Christopher Lambert, she begins, possessed this European mystery about him. Calm on the surface, but you always sensed something happening underneath. She folds her hands as though mentally replaying scenes from their work together. During their film, they spent many long hours on set, working through complicated dialogue and emotionally complex moments. He had this quality of focus that drew you in completely. When he listened to you speak, he truly listened with his full attention. It made even the quiet moments between takes feel charged with meaning, as though you were sharing secrets that didn't require words to convey. She laughed softly. His accent, of course, did half the work for him automatically. He would ask a simple question or make an offhand joke, and you'd forget what you were supposed to say next. That gentle, slightly mischievous energy kept everyone alert and engaged. She shakes her head with obvious affection as she continues. Christopher Lambert was entirely about precision in his craft. Every look, every pause had clear purpose behind it. Acting with him felt like playing chess, which was fitting considering the nature of their film, and half the enjoyment came from trying to stay one move ahead of him. Her eyes warm with genuine appreciation as she adds that he was remarkably generous as a scene partner. That's what she remembers most clearly. He wanted every scene to breathe naturally, to feel honest and authentic. There's a quiet confidence in people who don't need to dominate every moment, but can still make it come alive with meaning. Her smile becomes slightly wistful as she concludes. They came from completely different worlds, Hollywood and Paris, but during those few months of filming, it felt like they spoke the same cinematic language. The experience was mysterious, elegant, and just unpredictable enough to remain vivid in her memory long after the cameras stopped rolling. The conversation draws to a natural close, with her having shared these reflections on 6 memorable collaborations from throughout her career. There's a sense that she's offered something genuinely honest, acknowledging the complicated feelings that can arise when talented people work closely together in emotionally intense situations. Her perspective carries the wisdom of someone who has navigated these situations with grace, maintaining professionalism while also being honest about the very human attractions and connections that naturally occur. At 60 years old, she seems comfortable acknowledging these truths, viewing them now with a mixture of amusement, appreciation, and perhaps a touch of nostalgia for those charged moments when the line between performance and genuine feeling became beautifully, dangerously thin.